This episode is for anyone who has ever been told they weren't being Christ like, when in reality, they were just trying to protect their heart. If that sentence landed somewhere tender for you, I want you to know you're not alone, and you're not wrong for feeling the way you do. Loving God deeply doesn't mean ignoring your pain, and it doesn't mean staying in places that continually wound you. Sometimes the tension we feel in our faith isn't about God at all. It's about the ways faith has been explained, modeled, or even misused by people. Today's conversation is both reflective and honest. It's not about abandoning faith, and it's not about calling anyone out. It's about making space to notice what we may have been carrying quietly, especially when scripture or spirituality has been used in ways that left us feeling unseen or unheard. Before we go any further, I want to invite you into a short visualization. Nothing heavy, nothing you need to analyze, just a moment to notice what's already there. This exercise is sometimes called the cube, and it's simply a way to listen to what your inner world might be saying without judgment and without needing to explain yourself. Wherever you are, if it feels safe, take a breath and let's begin. Begin by getting comfortable. If it feels okay, soften your gaze and close your eyes. Take one slow breath in and a long breath out. Now imagine yourself standing in a wide open desert. The ground stretches out calmly in every direction. There's no urgency here, no one watching you, just space. In the distance, you see a cube. Notice how big or small it is. What is it made of? Does it feel solid, fragile, heavy, light? What does your cube look like? This cube represents you. Not who you should be, but who you are allowing yourself to be right now. There's no judgment, just curiosity. Somewhere nearby, notice a ladder. Is it leaning on the cube? Is it far away? Does it feel supportive, intrusive, or neutral? This ladder represents beliefs, teachings, or expectations that have helped shape how you relate to yourself and others. Just notice how it exists in relation to you. Now notice a horse in the desert. Is it close? Is it far? Is it free or restrained? Is it calm, alert, tired? This horse represents your strength, your instinct, your agency, your ability to move when something doesn't feel right. Let it be exactly as it is. Now, somewhere in the desert, notice flowers. How many are there? Where are they growing? Are they protected or exposed? Where are your flowers? These flowers represent care, connection, and love, both what you give and what you allow yourself to receive. Now finally, notice if there is a storm. Is it distant or overhead? Is it passing through or lingering? Is it quiet? Is it intense? Where is your storm and what does that storm look like? Is it still there in the field? Is it passing through? This storm represents tension, pressure, or pain that you have learned to carry without naming. You don't need to fix the storm, just notice where it is. Now take one more slow breath. And when you're ready, gently come back. Now I want you to ask yourself this with kindness, just to reflect on it. Where have I been making myself smaller to stay quote unquote good? What have I been carrying that was never meant to be proof of my faith? Now I want to be honest with you for a moment. This episode is personal for me. There have been seasons where I've questioned my own heart because I needed distance from people I loved. And instead of feeling supported, I felt spiritual pressure. I was told that choosing myself wasn't Christ-like. That maybe I just needed to forgive harder and stay longer, try more. And for a while, I believed that something in me must be wrong for feeling tired or hurt. That I must be crazy. But what I've been slowly learning is that loving God doesn't mean abandoning the parts of myself that are hurting, and setting boundaries doesn't make my faith smaller. It actually made my relationship with God more honest. If you've ever felt confused, isolated, or even a little crazy like me for needing space, I want you to know you're not alone in that feeling, and you're not a bad Christian for wanting to be whole. As you were picturing yourself and picturing your desert just now, your cube, the storm, the distance between things, you may have noticed parts of yourself that felt strong, and maybe parts of yourself that felt small or overwhelmed. And sometimes the storms we carry aren't just life circumstances. Sometimes they come from spiritual expectations that were never meant to weigh us down. So take a moment to notice how you feel right now. You don't need to figure anything out or draw conclusions, but sometimes simply noticing is enough. You may have noticed storms you've learned to live with, or distances you didn't realize were there. Whatever showed up for you is allowed. There's no right or wrong way to experience that. And for me, exercises like this have been revealing because they show me what my heart already knows, even when my faith language hasn't caught up yet. And sometimes what we discover isn't about a lack of trust in God, but it's about the ways we've been taught to carry faith. And today, I want to talk gently about something that doesn't get named enough in Christian spaces. What it feels like when faith is used in ways that make us question our own pain, our own boundaries, or our own voice. And something that I've been realizing is that when we start asking deeper questions about faith and about boundaries, about why things are the way they are, it can make others uncomfortable. Not because they're trying to hurt us. I mean, not always, right? But sometimes because questioning wasn't safe for them growing up. Maybe they were taught that asking why meant rebellion, or maybe they were shut down by adults who didn't know how to answer. And now when curiosity shows up again, it feels threatening instead of healing. So understanding that doesn't erase the hurt, but it helps me hold compassion without abandoning my own voice. And abandoning my own voice is something that I've done often for the sake of other people, but now with that realization, I'm not going to abandon my own voice of what I know in my relationship with God and what's been revealed. So I want to invite you into a quiet question, not to judge yourself, but just to notice. And that question is, who taught you that asking why was unsafe? For some of us, it could be a parent, it could be teachers, friends, it could be a coworker, it could be our grandparents, family. But who taught you that asking why was unsafe? And is that still a voice you want guiding your faith today? So if those questions bring up discomfort, that doesn't mean that you're drifting from God. Sometimes it means that you're growing closer to truth. Protecting your heart isn't a lack of faith. Sometimes it's how faith survives. And forgiveness is holy, but access is a choice. And so your faith grows deeper when you seek understanding, not when you silence your questions, right? So I want to be clear about something. This isn't an invitation to walk away from God. If anything, it's an invitation to come closer to Him without the weight of expectations that people may have placed on you. So Scripture invites us to seek understanding, to study, to discern. And sometimes that means realizing that forgiveness doesn't require us to step back into harm for the sake of family or tradition or image. And there's actually Scripture that supports this. We actually see in 2 Timothy 2:15 that it says to study to show thyself approved. And so Scripture invites us to seek understanding, not to blindly accept every interpretation handed to us. Studying and discerning is a part of a healthy relationship with God. So when I started learning to guard my heart, I wrestled with guilt until I remembered that Proverbs says, above all else, above all else, guard your heart. That shifted something in me because maybe protecting my peace wasn't a lack of faith, but an act of stewardship. And if you want to know the exact verse, it's Proverbs 4, verse 23. And it says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So guarding your heart isn't selfishness, it's biblical wisdom. Forgiveness is holy, but access is a choice. And if you need another scripture, I'll give you one that even shows Jesus practicing boundaries. And you can find that in Luke chapter 5, verses 16. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. So even Jesus stepped away from crowds and expectations. Distance wasn't a lack of love, it was a part of his rhythm. Jesus often withdrew, and when he withdrew, he went and prayed and sought wisdom from God, from the Father. But even he had his boundaries, and even he needed space. And I don't like that sometimes we forget that people need space, or we take it so personal. And it's how dare she? How dare he do this? How dare she do that? And a lot of times people do not reflect. They do not sit with themselves to have another level of awareness. And this is why I say it so much on this podcast. You need self-awareness. Because a lot of times people will place the finger and point the finger on you. But they never reflect, why does she feel this way? Why does he feel the need to isolate? Why does this person feel the need to be by themselves? And why do they feel as though distance is better? And I'm going to tell you something. The reason why people don't let that thought continue is because then they will have to be held accountable. And people do not like to be held accountable. People will do things to you, do you dirty. I mean, betray your trust, and then have the nerve to turn around and treat you as if you're the one who's crazy, as if you're the one that's doing something wrong, when you're just simply saying, look, I need peace. I've tried to talk with you. I've tried to settle things. Some of us have been trying to make amends for years and years and years. And you're just at a point where you learned that it does not work. And instead of putting your time and energy into the same people that you already knows better, but chooses not to do better, and they don't want to do better, because them doing wrong gets them so much more attention, and they don't have to be held accountable and be held responsible when they're just reckless, right? When the expectation of them is simply no expectation. Those are the people that are going to look at you sideways when you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing, and all you did was revert the attention back into yourself, back into your life, and to get things rolling for you, and now they feel some type of way. Why? Because the attention is off of them. And so these are the people that will try to use scripture and twist scripture and manipulate scripture into telling you how forgiveness looks and how you need to walk in that. Now, I'm never going to say that you don't need to forgive people, because the Bible tells us that we need to forgive people. We do. But forgiveness does not look the same for everyone. And a lot of times people, whether they know or not, will twist scriptures and will emotionally manipulate you and make you feel bad when your forgiveness looks like love from a distance. When you've been there, done that, seen the pattern, seen that a person is not changing, and you're not cursing them, you're not doing anything but simply saying, you know what, I've been hurt, I've been down this road before, I have forgiven in my own space, I have prayed, I am walking in that, but I'm not going to be a fool and continue to stay in places that once hurt me. How can I heal in places that once hurt me and are continuing to hurt me? They've chose what they want to do. Now you're choosing to protect and guard your heart, like scripture says. So I just wanted to put that out there. Once again, Jesus did practice those boundaries, and we are allowed to practice those same boundaries. But just in case anybody else wants some more scriptures out there, let's continue. Let's look at Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. It says, do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. So sometimes wisdom means recognizing when something's sacred and you need protection. I think I heard somebody say one more scripture. Okay, let's do one more. Romans 14 and 12. So then each of us will give an account of ourselves to God. Our relationship with God is personal. We're each responsible for how we walk with Him, not just how others think we should. This walk is personal. You have to die to yourself daily. And it is between you and God and the calling over your life, that God's calling over your life. Not people's, not man's. Man's gets it wrong every single day. So, this is your walk. And what God is telling you, listen to that and hold on to it. And once again, study to show yourself approved. So if you needed permission to rest your heart today, let this be it. You can love God deeply without abandoning yourself. So take what brings you closer to truth and leave what asks you to shrink. This has been Wednesday Reflections. I'm Aaliyah, and until next time, take care of your heart.